Outside, Dom is starting work on the metal case that holds the 1920s mutoscope, commonly known as what the butler saw.
The next step is to sand off all of this paint back to the bare metal to give us a good base that we can start reapplying new primers and paints. So using this sander's handy for the larger places like this where I can actually get it around, but there's going to be, it's actually quite a tricky little shape. There's lots of corners and bits and rivets and bolt heads and things like that, so I'm going to have to do a lot of it around the edges and the finer bits by hand.
Back inside the barn, Tim is beginning work on the mutoscope mechanism. His main stumbling block was sourcing a replacement 1920s gear wheel.
Last time we were here, we identified what was missing, which was the gear from here. But luckily enough, I found they'd got an identical mutoscope to this in a museum in Brighton. And crucially, they let me take a mould of their one. So armed with that bit of information, I then went for a tour around the second-hand tool shops of southern England until I found this.
An early 20th century hand drill seems to have the right-sized gear in it.
That is a result. That is better than I could possibly have hoped for. Those teeth, they mesh there. It could have been made for it. Amazing to think an old-fashioned hand drill and a 1920s fairground amusement had exactly the same gearing ratio. I'm sure that'd be fascinating to all the gear enthusiasts.
Back outside, Dom's next project is to get the mutoscope standing proud again.
So unfortunately, David's mutoscope doesn't have any legs. We obviously established it should have them, and now it's just my job to replicate those as best I can for David's.
Dom's using just one piece of steel to make each side of the frame.
Okay, that's all lining up really well.
He cuts out a V-shaped nick and bends it in a vise to form a neat corner.
I'm really pleased with how that's coming out. I just need to repeat the process now on this other side and then trim the legs to length. So it's almost now, with all my pieces here, ends up almost just being like a giant Meccano set that just needs assembling. It's really good to finally see this standing up on its own. Got a couple more brace bars to put through on these two sides, and then it's almost time to start thinking about paint.
I need your opinion. I've got these colours here, and basically, remember David said that he wanted it to be lipstick red to remind him of his wife's lipstick.
Okay.
So, which shade do you think suits me?
This, it's got to be that.
It's got to be that one,
No?
isn't it? That's a proper bright one. No, I totally agree with you. Yellow, if we can, here, and then red there.
That would look great. I think the yellow detail is a really nice touch. That would look really smart.
Let's get this paint on. I think we've made the right choice with this colour.
It's definitely lipstick red.
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's quite therapeutic painting, isn't it?
When it goes well, yeah.
Don't say that.
In your pristine white shirt.
Yeah. The outside's going to look fabulous because we're painting it, and then you've done the legs to match
Now
up.
it's standing on its legs,
Yeah. And then all Tim's got to do is get it working.
The last piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Get the thing working. Yeah.
Get it working.
He's also got to recreate a final missing feature: decorative rosettes that adorn the machine.
Luckily, we got one of them left on the back of the mutoscope, so I've taken a mould from that one remaining one, and now I'm going to melt down some lead-free tin alloy in here, and all being well, we can pour some of it into these moulds and make some matching ones to go on the legs. Worse than anything we've ever done. I think we may have done that slightly too hot, so let's have another go and make it slightly colder. Right, let's see what we've got. Well, there we go. I think that's definitely a much better finish than what we had before. This, with a little bit of paint on it, will properly complement the work that Dom has done making the new legs and sorting out the cabinet of this mutoscope. That is the sort of finish that we can hand back to David with a good conscience.